Howdy y'all, Ben and Jake here at Banjo Ben's General Store. Today we're going to talk about cheetah keys, and they're called cheetah keys because they look just like a cheetah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they're made of recycled cheetah bones.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We love giving back to the environment. It's the circle of life, folks. No, actually, they're called cheetah keys because we're going to be able to get that cool little, tuning trick that we all like to do on banjos without having to dig or drill any holes in our banjo headstock to install them. And so we want to talk about that today. We have a couple different sizes. We want to talk about which banjos require the different sizes. And then once we get it on, we can demonstrate what they sound like and how we do our adjustments and all that good stuff. Take it from there, Jay. What do you think?
Yeah, man. So you have two basic sizes. This is a standard size, which will fit most of your fiddle cut or double cut headstocks, similar to what we have here. There's also an extra wide, which fits more your paddle shaped headstocks like the bow ties and stuff like that. Or the old, some of the older good times before they went to this shape, they had what people called a Gumby headstock, kind of more of a square design. But between the two of them, you can surely find one that work just fine. And we've got the measurements on our site for which, if you need to take a measurement across the waist of the headstock. But I reckon we can just go ahead and show folks how to put them on, right?
Yeah, that's great. Let's look and see how to install.
So they're pretty simple. You want to remove the buttons first. So you have to do that on both sides. So you just take the screws out, take your buttons, set them there where you don't lose them. Make sure not to put them in Grandpa's candy dish.
They'll be gone again.
Right, yeah. And Grandpa will have another trip to the emergency room.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. So that doesn't taste like a Werther's original. So we just remove everything from the bottom up. Just like so. And then this plate's gonna slide off. So that's all we've done. We just, you have the screw, the button, the washer, and then these two threaded kind of barrels here. Just take all that off. And then this plate, which is your clamp, basically, will just slide off up like so. Very simple. Okay, so at this point, what we do is we determine which one of these posts is going to go on which string. Now with detuners, because of the pitch of the B string, you generally want a shorter throw because you're not throwing that note as far as on the G string.
Yeah, it's important to point out that they're not. Isn't a symmetrical design there.
Yeah, and so what you do is you'll turn each post and see how far that slider slides over. And the one that doesn't slide all the way over, that's the one you want indexed on the B string. Yeah, you notice if I do the same thing to this one, it'll slide all the way to the edge, and this one doesn't, just by a little bit. But so once you determine, which way it goes, then you know which way it goes.
Then you know.
Yeah, and you can tell because of the way that it is. So once we get that on there with the shorter throw slider on the B string side, we just take our clamp plate, put it back on like so, and I might stand this up and have you kind of balance it, that way they can see from the back side. It just goes right along the waist here like so. Yep. And then we just reverse the process from whence we began. And I'm just gonna hand snug these for now. You don't really have to get them, death grip tight or anything. Okay, once you do that, our buttons and washers will go back on. And they have an oblong shaft. So if you look at that button, you can see it's got two flat sides and two semi-round ends. So you have to make sure you index that properly. All right, so I forgot to mention also, you will have to remove the second and third string, which we did beforehand. So once you get on there, take your little Phillips head that fits, fine, and just snug those buttons up. I just kind of hold it with my thumb. That way it doesn't turn whenever I only want the screw.
None of this needs to be overly tightened either. It's like once it gets snug, that's good. Then you can just check it as you play.
Yep. All right, so there it is. Now we'll go ahead and string it up, and then we'll have Ben show you how it works.
Yeah. We now have the cheetah keys installed, and we've got our second and third strings strung on the inside of the levers there. It's important that we start there. And that means that our cheetah key actual tuner buttons are turned all the way to the left. And that's what I would just call my open tuning. That's where we would normally be. And so then I'm going to use my regular banjo tuners to get in tune, which I'm just about there. And I do have to say that these cheetah keys are going to have a bit of a break-in period, get them to where they're accurate and they go back and forth from the stops and keep the tuning. So you can be a bit patient there as they get settled in. But now I need to determine where my alternate note is going to be, and I'm going to be tuning each of these down, and that's a key to the method that I'm using. If I was wanting to tune it up, we would do the inverse of this method. But I'm starting with the banjo in tune with the cheetah keys turned all the way to the left. And my stops are backed out, not so far that they fall out, but they're backed out quite a bit. You'll know if they're not backed out far enough because you won't be able to down tune your cheetah keys to the note that you're reaching or that you want to reach. So I want to take this B note down to an A note. So we're going to lower it a whole step by turning to the right. And now I'm going to tighten my stop, turning it to the right until it stops. Go ahead and snug it up pretty good. So now I should be able to turn my cheetah key back to the left to return to original tuning. Oh, back it up just a little bit. Do some fine tuning here. There it is. Pretty close. Now let's do the same thing here with my third string. I'm wanting to go down to an F sharp. Close enough for video. Let's tighten the stop. Almost there. All right. What's neat about the cheetah key tuners is that we can turn them both the same way to get the desired effect. So if we want our strings, either tuner, to go down in pitch, we turn it to the right. And to return back to the original pitch, we go to the left. So that's a little different than some of the other tuners out there, but once you get used to it in your mind, I think it's actually easier because I don't have to keep track of the tuners in my mind. Highly recommend the cheetah keys. No holes have to be drilled. Easy to install, fits essentially every banjo headstock that we have out there. And after a little bit of a break-in period and getting to know how to use them and fine-tune them, they perform wonderfully. Check them out, banjobenclark.com, or give us a call at 833-BANJO-BEN.